Dear brothers and sisters, a few days ago, we began a new Hijri year. We entered the year 1440. 1,440 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ from Mecca to Medina. And we began with the month of Muharram, one of the sacred months, a month that Allah Azza wa Jalla established its virtue and sacredness and sanctity on the day He created the heavens and the earth. يَوْمَ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. A month that, other than being from the sacred months, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave a very unique virtue to when he called it Shahrullah al-Muharram, the month of Allah. This month that we're in right now is the month of Allah. And as we know, إن الله تعالى لا يضيف إليه إلا خواص مخلوقاته. Allah Azza wa Jal never attributes anything to Himself except for the best of the best. So we have many servants, many ibad, but then we have ibad al-Rahman, the servants of ar-Rahman, the ones that deserve that special reward. We have many masajid, but then we have Baytullah al-Haram, the house of Allah. We have many months, we have many prophets, but then we have Khalilullah, the close friend of Allah. So this month that we're in right now is Shahrullah, the month of Allah. A month that when the Sahaba, when Umar is attributed for a lot of what we see around us today, established by Umar. The police force, the courthouses, social security. One of the things that Umar did was to establish the calendar, the Islamic calendar. And when he did that, he sought advice from the Sahaba. What should be month number one? What do we begin with? And they each gave their opinion and advice until they all settled, it has to be Muharram. Because of the virtue of this month, this has to be month number one. We have to begin with Muharram. So this is the month that we're living right now. This is the month that just began. A month that when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ لما قدم المدينة وجد اليهود صياما يوم عاشوراء. When he approached Medina, he found the Yahud fasting in this month, on the 10th day of the month. So he asked, ما هذا اليوم الذي تصومونه? What is this day that you're fasting? So they said, هذا يوم أنجى الله موسى وقومه وغرق فرعون وقومه. This is the day that Allah Azza wa Jalla saved Musa and his followers. And this is the day that Allah Azza wa Jalla destroyed Fir'aun and his people. So we're fasting on this day. So the Prophet Muhammad responded saying, نحن أحق وأولى بموسى منكم. We have more right and more authority to Musa than you. Musa was a Muslim. You've changed his religion and message. فَصَامَهُ وَأَمَرَ بِصِيَامِهِ. So he began fasting in this month, and he ordered all of the companions to fast that day, that 10th day of Ashoora, the day that will fall on Tuesday, the coming Tuesday, inshallah. So this month of Muharram commemorates that legacy of that great prophet of Allah, Musa alayhi salam. A man that's mentioned in the Quran more than any other prophet, over 130 times. A man whose story and struggles and trial with Fir'aun is mentioned more than any other story. This month relives that. It reminds us of that, of those struggles, of the fact that the victory of Allah is always near, to never lose hope, to always remain on the side of the haqq, of the truth, no matter who we're up against, no matter who's on the other side, no matter how weak we feel. Musa had to oppose the man who was like his father, Fir'aun, the man who raised him, the man who spent his time and effort and energy raising him. And that's why Fir'aun used to say, أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا سِنِينَ وَلِيدًا. Didn't we raise you when you were a young boy? Didn't I raise you, O Musa? وَلَبِثْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمْرِكَ سِنِينَ. And you spent a lot of your time with me. How can you go against me now? Imagine the difficulty of Musa going back to give da'wah to this man who raised him, who was claiming he was God. Imagine the difficulty of Musa being up against what seemed like the world. 70,000 magicians against Musa, against one man, in front of the entire world, when Fir'aun invited everybody. But Musa was firm. Musa was on the side of the truth and he knew it. 70,000 versus 1. So what happens when we stick firm? What happens when we don't shy away? When we remain upon the truth? فَأُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ سَاجِدِينَ قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ رَبِّ مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. All of those magicians, the most evil of people, the ones that were coming and saying بِعِزَّةِ فِرْعَوْنَ, swearing by this man claiming he was a god, Fir'aun. The ones who were coming already asking, how much are we going to get paid? Doing it for the dunya. But when they saw the truth, when they saw the conviction of that one man, Musa, they fell into sujood immediately. The worst of the worst transformed instantly. فَأُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ سَاجِدِينَ. They fell into sujood. And they said, we believe in the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of Musa and Harun. This month of Muharram, that legacy of Musa reminds us to never give up, to never lose hope in the aid and the victory of Allah. No matter who we're up against, no matter what we face, the nasr of Allah is always close. Imagine living at that time. Put yourself in their shoes for a minute. We look at our ummah and we say, can it get any worse? Imagine living at that time. Imagine when this tyrant devises the plot, I'm going to just kill everybody. I'm going to kill every baby boy. That's my idea. And he goes around implementing that plan. One child at a time slaughtered, until there are no more babies left. No more baby boys left. He killed every baby boy. Imagine living at that time. Imagine you and your wife with your 1, 2, 3, 5 children. And now you get a knock on your door and your kids are taken away and they get slaughtered. Why? Because this man doesn't want to lose his power. But the victory of Allah was near, was close. It was just a matter of time before the Qadr came, before the victory of Allah came, and he literally walked into his own grave. He walked into the ocean to drown there when his time was up. The story of Musa reminds us and reassures us that we might not be facing Fir'aun, but each and every one of us sitting here right now is tried and tested. We go through difficulty. We go through hardship. We go through calamity. But never get to the point where you think Allah has abandoned you. That you've reached a dead end. That there's nowhere else to turn. When Musa was with his followers and they were being chased by the biggest superpower on the face of the earth, and they reached the sea and there was nowhere else to turn, what did the people with Musa say? قَالَ أَصْحَابُ مُوسَى إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ. They said, we're done. It's over. They reached the sea. The water was in front of them. They turn around, they've got the biggest army in the world coming to them. What did Musa say? What was the answer that we should remember in this month of Muharram, in this new year, that we implement in our lives? قَالَ كَلَّا. Musa said, no, it's never over. إِنَّ مَعَيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينِ. My Lord is with me. He's going to guide me. He's going to bring about the victory. He's going to aid us. It's never over. Even if we feel like it's a dead end, and we're trapped, and we're going to be destroyed in this test of ours, the story, the legacy of Musa reminds us to reattach ourselves, to have that iman, to have that conviction that Allah is there, Allah is with us, the victory is coming, it's just a matter of time. And I wish we could sit here and talk about the story of Musa and how much we can derive from that story of benefit and relive those days and the experiences that he had with the biggest tyrant on the face of the world, on the face of the earth. However, Unfortunately, in our day and time, the month of Muharram, the day of Ashoora, has been hijacked. And we can't sit here right now and talk about Musa when we have everything going on that day around us. Because people are confused. People come and say, are we supposed to be out there on that day of Ashoora? Are we supposed to be out there beating ourselves? Are we supposed to be in the street whipping ourselves with chains? Someone said, I looked up Ashoora online to see when it was, and I found pictures of blood and self-mutilation and people cutting the heads of their children open. Is this our deen? Is this what we believe in? How do we defend this when the non-Muslims say this about us? So in order to understand this, we'll take a few minutes today, inshallah, to talk about a brief historical account of what happened. How did this come about? Where did this come from? And why do we see this happening around us, even here in America? Even in Masjid around us here, this practice on the day of Ashoora. As we know, the family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the Ahlul Bayt, is the most honored and virtuous of families, especially the companions of them. They were companions, they were believers, and they were family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions them in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Allah Azza wa Jalla wants to remove all of the filth off of you, O family of the Prophet, and to purify you with a thorough purification. This is the family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And one of the last things he said before passing away was, أُذَكِّرُكُمُ اللَّهَ فِي أَهْلِ بَيْتِ. I remind you by Allah with my Ahl Bayt, with my family. I remind you by Allah with the rights of my family. And the family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, to Ahl Sunnah, to us sitting here now, is the believing uncles of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Al-Abbas, Hamza, their children. The cousins of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Ali, Ja'far, Al-Aqil, and their children, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. The daughter of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and her offspring, and the wives of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Very important. And the wives of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the ones mentioned in the Quran, النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم. The Prophet is more closer to the believers than their own self, and his wives are their mothers. His wives are their mothers. This is the Ahlul Bayt. And from that Ahlul Bayt were Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein. And we have to talk about it. We have to understand this brief history, because there's a lot of confusion out there. Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, the daughters of Fatima and Ali, the grandchildren of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When Ali had his first baby, Al-Hasan, in the 4th year after Hijrah, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was excited. He came rushing over and he said, show me my child. Arunibni, let me see him. And he says, ماذا سميته? What did you name him? So Ali said, سميته حرب. I've named him war. So he said, no, بل هو حسن. No, rather his name will be Hassan. Then a year later he had another child. Same thing, the Prophet Muhammad came rushing over to the house of Ali. Let me see the child. What did you name him? I've named him Harb, war. He said, no, rather his name will be Hussein. And the third child, what did you name him? I've named him war. Rather his name will be Muhassin. So the Prophet Muhammad changed the names and named those children himself. And the third child, the third baby, passed away at a young age. But what were left were Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein. And the Prophet Muhammad said about him, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَ وَالْحُسَيْنَ سَيِّدَا شَبَابِ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ. These two youth right here, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, will be the leaders of the youth in paradise. They're the leaders of the youth. They were the ones that we hear all the narrations about them coming to the masjid, crawling on the back of of the Prophet Muhammad while in sujood, of him leaving the minbar while giving khutbah, like I'm standing here now, leaving to go pick them up and hug them, of him rushing over to the house of Fatima to play with them on the ground, to crawl around on the ground and play with those two children. Those were Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein. He had a deep love for them. But as we know, the Prophet Muhammad said, Al-Khilafatu Thalathun. The Khilafah, and one narration, ala minhaj al-nubuwah, the leadership after me will be 30 years. And it will be in accordance with the prophetic way. 30 years. And then after that, things will change. After 30 years, Ali ibn Abi Talib was assassinated in Al-Kufa by a group called the Khawarij. He was killed after that 30-year period. And the Prophet Muhammad prophesied this. So everyone began giving their bay'ah to Al-Hassan, the older of the two. They pledged their allegiance that he should be the next leader. But in Asham, everyone was pledging their allegiance to a second person, which was Muawiyah. Now we have two leaders. Now there's a problem. So Al-Hassan, not wanting to cause a fitna, not wanting to see any problems or bloodshed, stepped down. He resigned. Again, this was prophesied by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When one day he came out off of the minbar and he picked them up and he said, this child of mine, أرجو أن يصلح الله به بين فئتين من أمتي. This baby of mine, I hope that he will be, that Allah will use him to reconcile between two fighting groups from my ummah. So Al-Hassan stepped down. He refused any problems. He handed over the authority to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan in Asham, and he was the leader. Things were going well until near the end of the life of Muawiyah, he appointed his son to be the next leader before passing away, Yazid. And this was problematic. This was a little bit of a problem. There was the likes of Ibn Umar, the most knowledgeable, the senior companion at the time. The likes of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. The likes of Abdullah ibn Abbas. The likes of Al-Hussein after Hassan passed away. So this was a little bit problematic. The companions differed over what to do. This was not an agreed upon matter. Abdullah ibn Umar decided to give him, to pledge his allegiance to Yazid, the son of Muawiyah, not wanting any problem, wanting to pull himself out of the fitna. Abdullah ibn Zubayr was in Mecca. There was freedom there. There were no restrictions there. He refused. He rejected the whole idea. Al-Hussein was asked to give bay'ah. And they pressured him to give bay'ah. Pledged their allegiance to Yazid. And eventually he refused and he fled to Mecca. And he was there. He remained in Mecca where there wasn't as much control. And while in Mecca, he was getting letters from Kufa daily. Al-Hussein, come to Iraq, come to Kufa, we will support you, you are our leader. Everyone here is with you, come here. Don't worry about the pressures there, come to Kufa. So eventually, he gathered a small group of Ahlul Bayt, of the family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And prior to that, he sent his cousin, Muslim ibn Aqil, the nephew of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ali's brother's son. He sent him to go see what was going on. So Muslim said, there were more than 12,000 people there, ready, waiting for you, O Al-Hussein, come to Kufa. So he took that small group of Ahlul Bayt, he packed his bags, and he decided to leave. The Sahaba begged him not to go. Abdullah ibn Abbas, Ibn Umar, he said, stay. Don't go. The people in Kufa betrayed your father. You saw what happened to your father Ali. He was assassinated there by those very same people, by the people calling themselves believers. Stay here. But he went, and he traveled there. And eventually Yazid started hearing about what was going on. So he sent a new governor to Kufa by the name of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, a new governor. And he was shrewd. He was ruthless. He was hot-tempered. And he was young. He was 28 years old, the new governor of Kufa. So he arrived. He immediately captured. He bought out everybody. Those tons of people that were waiting, he bought them out with promises and money until there was not a single supporter remaining for Al-Hussein. He captured Muslim ibn Aqil, the nephew of Ali, imprisoned him. He got a letter out to Hussein saying, don't leave, go back to where you came from, but it was too late. Eventually he killed Muslim. And Hussein arrived to the outskirts of Kufa. And the letter reached him to go back. That everybody in Kufa betrayed you. Go back to Mecca. But it was too late. He turned to his people and asked them, what should we do? The sons of Muslim who was killed wanted to go in, were concerned about their father. The rest of them were saying, you're Al-Hussein. You're the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad. Nothing will happen to you. Let's go in, we're already here. So they went in until they reached a place called Karbala. And they were surrounded by an army that had no intention of being there. Were headed to Turkey, but were ordered by this young new governor to stay where they are surrounded. And they surrounded this group from Ahlul Bayt, from the companions and the family of the Prophet Muhammad. And they came and they said, you must go give your allegiance to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. So Al-Hussein refused. He said, I'm not going to go give him my allegiance. I'll give you three options. Option number one, me and Yazid will talk directly. We'll solve the matter. Option number two, send me back to Mecca. Option number three, send me into exile. Kick me out of the land. But as far as him, I have nothing to do with him. He was an oppressor. He was a murderer. He had killed the Sahaba from Ahlul Bayt. He said, I'm not talking to him. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه يوم الدين وبعد. Al-Hussein gave them three choices. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad rejected all three of them. And he sent a group of mercenaries to go and start a fight, to go and begin battle. The army that was surrounded there did not know what to do. This was Al-Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. They were trying to pull themselves out. They were refusing to strike. But this group of mercenaries came in and they eventually killed the entire group, except for very few. The entire group of companions and family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were massacred there in that place. And that land called Karbala, right outside of modern day Iraq, of Kufa. They were killed there. And again, all of this was prophesied by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ over 1400 years ago, when he came to the house of Fatima, and he was laying there taking a nap, and Hussein came and crawled on his stomach. And then Fatima said, I heard the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ crying. So she said, Ya Rasulullah, why are you crying? What's going on? What happened? He said, Atani Jibreel. Jibreel just came to me now, and he told him that this beloved son of yours, he will be killed. By who? By your own ummah. Your own ummah will be the ones who kill this beloved son of yours. So this was already known. This was already prophesied. 4 years after that, in conclusion, in the year 65 after Hijrah, a group emerged. And this is the start of what became known as Shi'ism. A group emerged 4 years after that. A group that they called themselves At-Tawwabun. They regretted what happened. How did we betray Hussein for a little bit of money? How were we bought out? So they started going out to the land there in Karbala and singing songs and reciting nasheed, and they would slap themselves and they would hit themselves. And that began developing until they would have chains and ropes and swords and knives. And that's how we have what we have now in our day and time. Actions of self-inflicted harm and mutilation that have no basis in the deen. Nothing to do with Ahl Sunnah. Al-Husayn's father Ali was killed, who was more virtuous than Al-Husayn, was murdered. And before him, Uthman was killed during the days of Tashriq. And before him, Umar, more virtuous than them, was killed while leading the prayer, standing in the mihrab. And before him, Abu Bakr and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and nobody ever took their death as an anniversary. Nobody ever took responsibility for their death and said, now we have to punish ourselves. Now we should go on the street and whip ourselves and chain ourselves and harm our children to relive their anniversary, to relive their death. This is the basis that has no, this is an act that has no basis in the deen. So what should we be doing? What is the act that we should be upon? Turning back to Allah. As the Prophet Muhammad used to do by fasting, by increasing in fasting. He said that there's a day, أفضل الصيام بعد رمضان صيام شهر الله المحرم. The best fasting is the fasting of Muharram. And whoever fasts on the 10th of Muharram, on Tuesday, gets expiated of an entire year, the previous year of sin. And he said, trying to be different than the Jews, if we live to see another year, we will fast on the 9th as well. Trying to make sure the Muslims have their own identity, their own greeting, their own look, their own appearance. So he said, if we live to see another year, we're going to fast on the 9th and the 10th. So make sure, dear brothers and sisters, to relive the legacy of these people, to take advantage of the virtue of this month, make the intention to fast, to turn back to Allah, to start this year on the right page by worshiping Allah, to turn back to Allah and tawbah correctly, not by beating yourself, but by worshiping Allah, by making tawbah. The 9th day will be on Monday and the 10th day will be on Tuesday. And there will be iftar here in the masjid for everybody. Bring your families, bring your children, try to instill this aqeedah and these Islamic holidays in them from a young age. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us really successful. Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Allahumma rudd al-muslimina li dinihim raddan jamila. Allahumma la taj'al ad-dunya akbar hammina wa la mablagha 'ilmina. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعوة لا يستجاب لها. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.